Good morning, good morning. Happy Monday. Welcome to the Wake Up Flow. Start of a new week. Yeah, we're going to do something a little bit different. I'm sort of doing this periodically, a little bit more of a teaching session than a flow today. We're going to go through some static health postures. Standing posture work is very fundamental in a lot of the internal martial arts. And used in some of the, the more external arts, the fighting arts, Taekwondo, etc. Used to build strength and stability and improve posture, and is something that we do every day in our member sessions, and something that I have personally been practicing now for a couple of years, and it really, really kind of took my personal practice to a new level. I just embedded this style of Qigong into my daily practice. But we'll go ahead and get our little warm-up in first, get the body temp up a little bit, and some fluid moving in the joints. So put your feet about shoulder width apart, let your knees be nice and soft, a little bit bouncy, upper torso erect. You can imagine your head being pulled up by a string, lengthening out the spine and neck, and tuck your chin back automatically almost. And then let's just begin to turn from side to side. The arms can just swing free to start. See, I'm joined this morning by my four-legged friends. Hopefully they'll be spectators and not active participants this morning. So they managed to shut us down one day last week. Well, that did force me to learn something new. It is possible to disable the touch screen on your computer if you have a reason to do that. Because as it turns out, cat paws work just as well on a touch screen as fingers. Now let's take the hands into loose fists and begin tapping. Tapping is through many Qigong traditions, and it has become a discipline all its own. There are a number of different tapping methods. You might be familiar with something called EFT, emotional freedom tapping. Uses kind of some of the same methods we use when we do the more meridian style tapping of Qigong, but with a little bit different purpose. We're tapping here on the lower belly and lower back. This is our body's energy center, our lower dantian. A very common warm-up move. We call this knocking on the door of life. And today we'll be standing still for most of the practice, so we should go ahead and we'll focus on the breath right away. Breathing deeply in through the nose if you're able. And you take the out breath through either your mouth or nose. You may find that because we're standing still, although it can be a fairly demanding practice, breathing is a little bit easier than sometimes we have when we pattern breathe. And sometimes we're able to breathe through the nose in and out. And let's take that front hand, slide that up the body a little bit. And let's tap into that little hollow space, that little valley where the shoulder and chest meet. This is the end point of the lung meridian. In the various tapping disciplines, this is one of the points to relieve stress and anxiety. In the Eastern movement traditions, we would think of it at the end of the lung meridian, a point that we tap on to for the benefit of the body's immune system. Certainly top of mind these days. Let's flatten out the hands and let the arms go a little bit ragdollish. Come on up and all the way over the shoulder. And as you come back and forth with that, add just a little bit of bounce. Take you through a series of 5 postures today. Metaphor visually is you're manipulating a sphere, a ball of some kind in each one of the postures, holding it, hugging it, pushing it, pressing it down. Now let's come back to the front. Big taps in that shoulder area. And come on back down to the belly. Let's finish up this part by floating the hands off the body, tap into a reach. The back heel come on up. Drop the toe as you reach. Work for strength and flexibility in feet and ankles. Often see that Tai Chi and Qigong are noted for reducing the risk of falling. Always work in a little bit of footwork to very specifically help with that. As some of us have come to that age where fall risks are something we really need to keep in mind because they have much more dire consequences as we get older. Let's shrink this down, slow it down, and let's harmonize body and breath. One hand out forward, palm up, and as you breathe in, draw that hand back. Let it spiral in the back, and as you breathe out, let it sweep forward. Breathing in, and breathing out. But we're not going to really pattern breathe today. The moving Qigong sets that we do, marrying of body movement with cadence of breath, really magnifies the benefits. With breath work, which is useful all by itself, as well as movement, which most would acknowledge is very important. So much so that we wear little gadgets on our wrists to track it. Let's get ready to switch over to the other side. breathing in and breathing out. As I've worked these postures into my practice, I hold them for quite an extended period of time. Sometimes we'll only do one or two over the course of a 25 to 30 minute practice. I'm just going to hold them for a fairly brief time today. And rather than worrying about the time held, we'll count breaths instead. So we'll shoot to go 10 breaths in each posture, 10 nice, full, deep breaths. A bit of a benefit as you're learning how to do the postures and how to hold the postures in a relaxed manner, not holding them for a really, really extended period of time. It takes the level of risk of being a little bit out of alignment or not quite in the exact position. It takes the risk out of that. Wouldn't be holding a long position or a wrong position for a long time. But as you practice it, you get a little better at it, make it easier to hold the poses. And I've done them for as long as 30 minutes at a time. I actually find, because I'm, for some reason, do not get great benefit out of trying to take a nap in the afternoon, as some people can do a 10-minute power nap and be refreshed and alive. That doesn't work for me. I have replaced that little sequence in my day with static postures. We'll be doing one of those today, called the standing post. All right, last time, sweeping to the front, and then just let the hand fall back down to the side. I'm going to set up in the correct posture for these. So I'm going to toe heel out just a little bit wider than hips width. Upper torso stays nice and erect. What I think of as a line that goes from the floor through the base of our spine, through the neck, through the crown of the head. That is one continuous line. Gaze stays forward, maybe just slightly upward. The neck is nice and long, spine is long. Your arms are just relaxed to the sides with just a little bit of space under the armpits, like you're holding a golf ball. And then lastly, we're going to let the body sink down, which puts just a little bit of tension in the upper legs. This is our kind of basic starting position, and the position we'll stay in for all of the postures. So all of them revolve around the notion of holding or doing, in some way, manipulating a ball. The first thing we're going to do is hold a ball of energy in front of our energy center, our lower dantian. So just forward with here. Let the arms come up, palms facing each other, hands a little bit rounded, like just holding a ball right in front of your lower belly. And for these, you can either close your eyes or it's just a soft gaze forward. You don't have to fix your gaze on any particular object. You're just kind of gazing off into the distance. I generally do posture work with my eyes closed. Sometimes we do visualizations along with postures. It always feels easier to do with the eyes closed. So pause here for about 10 breaths. Nice deep breaths in through the nose if you're able. And we take the out breath through either the mouth or the nose. As you breathe in, let the tongue rest on the upper palate. And you can just leave it there if your nose breathing in and out. Otherwise, let it drop down as you breathe out. So we're pulling the ball first in front of the lower dantian. And we come come up into the standing post, which is sort of a classic pose. This whole umbrella of static postures is generally referred to as Zhanzhuan. And the particular tradition of it I study is called Xinyi Many interpretations, many variations, all fundamentally getting us to the same place, building structural integrity and improving posture, which improves all of our movement work. Okay, we're going to get ready to go to the next posture. We'll do that as we inhale. So on your next inhale, let the hands rise, floating up to the level of the heart, and flare the elbows out a little bit so the fingers are pointing toward each other. It's almost like you're hugging a ball, hugging a beach ball, or hugging a tree. This one's called the standing post. Last two pieces of this, consciously drop the elbows, and then consciously relax the shoulders. Just let your shoulders fall away from your ears. And we pause here. Still should have a little bit of tension in your upper legs. Every time you move, we want to do a little posture check. Your upper torso is erect. This will often happen naturally, but if it hasn't, do a little check. You want to tuck your tailbone so that it points toward the floor. This really kind of allows there to be just the natural curve of the spine, basically a straight line running through the floor, up our spine, through our neck, out the crown of the head, just an imaginary line. So in this posture, we're holding that ball in towards us. And on our next inhale, let's let the hands float up just above eye level. And then turn the palms as if holding back a ball that's about to fall on you. So the palms are not straight forward, they're not at each other, about halfway there, so that you kind of feel the hands are around the curve of the ball. It's going to come through the air and fall on you. Again, do a little posture check. Sometimes when we raise our arms, we lean back. Conversely, when we drop our arms, we often lean forward. So straighten back out. Just a little tension in the legs, body sunk down. Think of it as sitting on the edge of a tall stool. Most people, when we come into this posture, it feels like we can breathe easier. If you think about it, you kind of opened up the space for breathing. Since we've already locked into deep breath, then we open up that space. It feels that much easier. This is the third of our 5 postures. We inhaled ourselves into 2 and 3. We're going to exhale to number 4. So take a breath, deep breath in. And then on a long, slow exhale, that ball that was going to fall on you, just guide it down. We're going to set that ball down on the water. Press it down a little bit. It's trying to bounce back up out of the water. And we pause here, doing a little posture check again. Arms come down. Natural tendency to lean a little bit forward. So correct that if that's happened. hands are rounded as if around a ball. And visualize pressing that ball down onto the water while it resists to be sunk. I haven't felt it up to this point. There's a good chance you're feeling a little tingly in your hands. To make that more prominent by visualizing that ball, visualizing it pressing back up against your hands as you try to put it underwater. It resists. And we'll also move into the final posture on an exhale. So again, take a nice deep inhale. And then as you exhale, the hands float down, come behind the body. Press the back of your hands against your kidney area. And then put your hands into almost like claws. So we hold back a ball from behind us that wants to push us. As we near the end of our time today, thank you for joining me for our Wake Up Flow. Interested in exploring this discipline further, jump on out to the website www.noboundswellness.com. We do an extended member flow daily during the week at 11 o'clock. Those are done over Zoom right now, although on Wednesdays and Fridays we are in studio. Pulse for Health on the north end of Cedarburg. We welcome in up to 8 people in the studio right now. Time when we're still trying to keep from getting COVID. We do Zoom those, but we Zoom them from the Pulse studio. One last deep breath in. As you breathe out, go ahead and let your eyes come open. Let your hands come back down to your sides. Toe heel or step back in to your narrower neutral position. Give everything a little shake out. And thanks for joining me today. Wonderful rest of your Monday. Namaste.